The knock came just after midnight. It wasn't loud, but it was urgent, desperate, the kind of knock that carried fear, through the thick wooden door of the old ranch house. Caleb Turner, a quiet rancher who lived miles from the nearest town, paused mid-step. He hadn't had visitors at this hour in years. The wind howled across the fields, rattling the windows as he reached for the door. When he opened it, his heart dropped. A little girl stood on the porch, no older than 6. Her hair was tangled, her face streaked with tears and dirt. She was shaking so badly, Caleb thought she might collapse right there on the wooden boards. Her bare feet were red and scraped from running. She looked up at him with wide, terrified eyes and whispered words that froze his blood. "They beat my mama," she cried. "She's dying." For a moment, Caleb couldn't speak. He knelt down immediately, bringing himself to her level. Hey, sweetheart," he said gently. "You're safe here. Tell me your name." "Lily," she sobbed, "please." "She won't wake up." Caleb grabbed his jacket and flashlight without another thought. Years ago, he had been a first responder before ranch life became his escape from a past filled with loss. That training snapped back instantly. "Show me," he said firmly, lifting her into his arms. "I've got you." They ran into the darkness. The girl pointed toward a rundown trailer hidden behind trees at the edge of the property. Inside, the air smelled of fear and blood. Caleb's flashlight revealed a horrifying sight. Lily's mother lay on the floor, barely conscious, her face swollen and bruised, breath shallow and uneven. Caleb checked her pulse. Weak, but there. "She's alive," he muttered. "Hang on, ma'am. Don't you give up." Lily clutched his sleeve, crying silently. "They said if we told anyone, they'd come back." Caleb's jaw tightened. Whoever they were had made a grave mistake. He gently lifted the woman, wrapping her in a blanket, and carried her outside. "Listen to me, Lily," he said, steady and calm. "I'm not letting anyone hurt you or your mama ever again." As he loaded them into his truck, his eyes burned with determination. This wasn't just about helping anymore. This was about protecting, and Caleb Turner was about to make a move no one saw coming. Caleb drove fast, the truck's headlights cutting through the darkness as gravel sprayed beneath the tires. Lily sat in the passenger seat, clutching her mother's hand, whispering her name over and over like a prayer. Caleb kept one eye on the road and one on the woman in the back, listening carefully to her breathing. "Stay with me," he said aloud, more to himself than to her. Halfway to town, the woman stirred. A faint groan escaped her lips. Caleb pulled over instantly, jumping out to check her condition. Her eyes fluttered open, fear clouding them. They said they'd come back," she whispered weakly. Caleb leaned close so Lily couldn't hear. "You're safe now," he said firmly. "I promise." But Caleb knew promises meant nothing without action. At the hospital, doctors rushed the woman into emergency care. Lily clung to Caleb's hand, her small fingers tight with terror. When a nurse tried to lead her away, Lily shook her head violently. "He's staying," she insisted. Caleb stayed. Hours later, a doctor emerged. "She has severe injuries," he said gravely. "But you got her here in time. She's going to live." Lily burst into tears, wrapping her arms around Caleb's waist. He swallowed hard, emotion tightening his throat. But relief didn't last long. As dawn broke, a sheriff's deputy arrived with troubling news. "We found signs someone's been circling your property," the deputy said quietly. "Whoever did this may be looking for them." Caleb's expression hardened. He'd hoped they'd be cowards. He'd been wrong. That evening, Caleb returned to the ranch with Lily while her mother remained hospitalized. He locked every door, checked every window, and loaded his old rifle, not to provoke trouble, but to be ready for it. The ranch was silent. Too silent. Just before midnight, headlights appeared at the edge of the field. Lily whispered, trembling, "That's them." Caleb stepped onto the porch, calm and unshaken. He raised his phone and made a call he hadn't wanted to make in years. "Yeah," he said into the receiver. "It's Turner. I need a favor now." The truck stopped. Doors opened. And the men who thought fear would keep a child silent had no idea whose land they had just stepped onto. The truck's engine idled at the edge of the field, headlights flooding the ranch yard with harsh white light. 2 men stepped out, their silhouettes sharp against the darkness. They laughed. Low, careless laughter, convinced fear had already done their work. Caleb didn't move. He stood on the porch, calm and solid, a man who knew his land and himself. Inside the house, Lily watched through a crack in the door. Her small hands clenched together. One of the men called out, "We're just here to finish a conversation." Caleb's voice carried evenly across the yard. "You're trespassing." The men sneered and took a few steps closer. That's when the sound came, engines multiple this time, rolling in from the dirt road behind them. Headlights flared. Tires crunched. The men turned, confusion flickering into panic. 3 vehicles stopped in a clean line. Doors opened. Men stepped out, quiet, controlled, unmistakable. County deputies, a state trooper, and 2 plainclothes officers who didn't bother announcing themselves. One of them walked straight up to Caleb and nodded. "Good to see you again, Turner," he said. "Sorry it took so long." Caleb nodded back. "They're the ones." The men tried to run. They didn't make it 10 steps. Within minutes, they were on the ground, hands cuffed behind their backs, the bravado gone. One of them shouted excuses. Another cursed. No one listened. From the doorway, Lily watched as the men who had terrified her were led away. She didn't cheer. She didn't cry. She simply breathed for the first time in days. Later that morning, Caleb drove Lily back to the hospital. Her mother was awake now, weak, bruised, but alive. When she saw Lily, tears slid down her cheeks. "He saved us," Lily said simply, pointing to Caleb. The woman reached for his hand. "I don't know how to thank you." Caleb shook his head. "You already did," he said, glancing at Lily. "You trusted me." Weeks later, the ranch felt different, lighter. Lily and her mother moved into a small house in town, safe at last. But every Sunday they came out to the ranch for breakfast. Lily ran across the fields laughing, no longer afraid of the dark. And sometimes, late at night, Caleb would sit on the porch and listen to the quiet, knowing that one knock on a door had changed 3 lives forever. Because real strength doesn't come from fear. It comes from standing up when someone else can't. And Caleb Turner always would.